Armin, we've been kind of until recently operating under the presumption that basically supporting Vahidi and the Paydari camp would expedite the hastening the fall of the regime, basically because their intransigence and unreasonable expectations would create tension with the I guess pro-negotiation wings of of the regime. Given that I wanted to ask you if you think the inverse is true, given that Ghalibaf is now basically in a position where he could be subjugating the Paydari faction. Is this going to prolong the regime?
So can you tell me what you're thinking on this again? Like, can you explain it again?
Yeah.
I
So
want to be.
up until about a month ago, when it didn't look like likely we'd actually get any kind of deal,
Yeah.
the thinking was basically the Paydari camp and Vahidi are in a
Mm.
way hastening the fall of the regime. They're helping our side by basically with their
Correct.
intransigence and with their unreasonable expectations.
Yes.
But given now that the Ghalibaf faction is basically exercising power over the Vahidi faction, may end up subjugating them. I want to know if you think the inverse is true. If you think that basically, given that we have factions gaining power now that are more willing to negotiate, is that going to prolong the life of the regime?
What is going to prolong the life of the regime? The Vahidi camp having the upper hand, or the Ghalibaf camp having the upper hand?
The Ghalibaf camp having the upper hand over the Vahidi camp.
So I don't. So here's the thing: the force that keeps the Islamic Republic alive is IRGC, right? So
Mhm.
anything that weakens the IRGC gets us closer to regime fall, right? So if
Mhm.
Ghalibaf is getting the upper hand, if Ghalibaf is being used by the Americans to weaken the IRGC, we're moving in the right direction, right? That's what I think. So to me, this could be the master plan. I hope this is the master plan, because if it is, it's genius, right? Ghalibaf has an understanding that if we go to military operations, he could die, right? So people are like, why are we trusting Ghalibaf? We don't need to trust Ghalibaf. We could just trust that he doesn't want to die. So he's very motivated. And we also know that he has been very interested in becoming the most powerful people within the Islamic Republic for years, right? So
Mhm.
these are his two motivations: to have all the power and also not have a drone shoved up his ass by the Israelis, like just like Jalili and Shamkhani. I think he's terrified that will happen to him if we go back to military operations, right? So he is personally very motivated to give to the Americans what they want so that he doesn't die. And I think the Americans might have figured this about him, and they're telling him that, yeah, your ass is actually on the line if we don't get our way, right? So if that's the case, then Ghalibaf is the hostage of the Americans, and the Americans have an inside man within the Islamic Republic doing what the United States wants against the Islamic Republic's interests. Which means that maybe the Americans have figured out a way to more efficiently weaken this IRGC, even more efficient than military operations, by having a man, their guy, having the ultimate power within the Islamic Republic, right? So if that's the case, then Ghalibaf will be telling the Americans, like, listen, there are some limitations to what I could do. Here are the people who are in my way. Some of them you can kill, some of them we have to basically threaten to submit. We can't kill all of them, because if you keep killing IRGC people, when the rest of the IRGC will come to power, we could keep killing them until somebody submits, right? So he says, like, let's kill IRGC leaders, and then until I get to somebody who I could talk to, and tell them, submit to me, or else the Americans will kill you, right? And I think this is what Ghalibaf has done to the Paydari camp, to the supreme leadership, and to the IRGC. He has basically managed to convince them, it's either you will listen to me and give the Americans what they need, or you're going to be killed. And I think that comes also with the understanding. Let me mute your mic for a second, sorry, because I'm getting some audio back. I think that also comes with the understanding that maybe Ghalibaf is giving intelligence to the Americans regarding where these people are and how to kill them. I mean, I don't know that if that's the case or not, but I'm pretty sure within some regime officials, they're thinking about that might be what's happening, because many regime officials still can't figure out how Larijani was found and killed, right? So they're thinking somebody is giving the Americans and Israelis intelligence on this, right? If that's what's happening, then for Ghalibaf to be able to continue playing this game, he has to continue giving stuff to the Americans, because if the Americans get this abandon this plan, then he has to worry about everybody. He has to worry about the Americans and the IRGC, right? Uh, and everybody else that has turned into enemy. Another thing that Ghalibaf has to tell the Americans is like, okay, I managed to get the heads of IRGC, the supreme leadership, and the head of the Paydari camp to submit to me and endorse the negotiations. But this is still not good enough. The regime supporters, they are very angry. We need to write the MOU in a way that is sellable to them, right? So the MOU needs to be written in, and we need to sometimes do some things that these people don't turn against us completely. So if this is what's happening, then Ghalibaf becoming more successful is in our favor, because if we manage to keep going down this path, then the more we give to the Americans, the more the position of the IRGC is going to get weaker and weaker. For example, if the long-term strategy is, I don't know, uh, getting giving Ghalibaf access to private investments capital, like at least a promise of that, if IRGC's grip on the economy is removed. So Ghalibaf might be able to dangle these $1 billion in front of people who would be aligned with him and move against the IRGC, or even better yet, Ghalibaf might be able to tell people within the IRGC that, guys, we're losing this anyways. At least with my way, you get to live, and I'll make sure that you maintain some control over some of the industries that you had control over as a member of IRGC, but instead as a private citizen. Like if you you know how in Soviet Union, when the privatization happened, some of the people, many of the people that were already with the Soviet Union ended up becoming the owners of these institutions that had now been privatized. So Ghalibaf could basically like say, let me go through this, and at least you will come at the end of this a rich and powerful man anyways, and alive, more importantly alive. So this is something that maybe Ghalibaf is doing. If we're going down this path, then this is IRGC. I mean, I don't see how successful this could be, because all of this is very difficult to pull off. But Ghalibaf's direction of moving is towards weakening IRGC. He came up with like some messages that was pretty obvious that it was against the supreme leadership and also against the IRGC. Like for example, recently he had a speech. He said like, guys, we are moving away from a system in the Islamic Republic that is based on one person. Everybody interpreted that as a statement against the supreme leadership. And he also more recently came out and said we need to take the stronghold hold from the launcher boys, and so that we could rebuild the economy. So that was pretty obviously a statement by Ghalibaf saying that the IRG things are too much under control of the IRGC, and you need to give the control from the IRGC to me so I could rebuild the economy. That was a statement against IRGC control over the economy. So if Ghalibaf is successful, that's the weakening of the IRGC, and a weakening of the IRGC gets us closer to toppling the Islamic Republic, because the Iranian people can handle the supreme leadership. The Iranian people can handle Ghalibaf. The Iranian people can handle the Paydari people. The obstacle in our way is IRGC. So anything that weakens IRGC gets us closer to having the Iranian people be able to just basically destroy the regime. Does that answer your question?
It does. I do have some concerns. I think just this was you're going a little bit to my next point. I wouldn't want to see a situation like Venezuela where the U.S. could get so friendly with portions of the regime that they would actually work to keep those regime elements in power after the current dictatorship is toppled. No one ever talks about Venezuelan opposition anymore because we have a friendly Chavista regime that we're working with. I would prefer a situation where the U.S. had no allies in the regime and was just working, solely for its toppling.
So the difference between Iran and Venezuela is the Iranian people came in millions and millions into the streets against the regime, and the Iranian people have been dying for their cause, have been bleeding, have been risking, and after years of executions and torture, they keep coming back. Right? We don't see the people in Venezuela fight for Machado the way the Iranian people fight for Pahlavi. we don't see we don't see that. And also, I mean, I don't know if I should say this about Venezuelan people. I don't know if you could match the level of hatred the Iranian people have for the Islamic Republic. Maybe that exists in Venezuela or not, but maybe Jose could correct me on this, because maybe there is. But as an Iranian, it's really hard to express the deep, like, the Iranian people were saying to the Americans, nuke Tehran if you have to kill the mullahs, and I'm in Tehran. I'm in Tehran. Like, if I have to die for you to eradicate mullahs, kill me. If I have to die under bombardments for me to be able to know that at least with my death there will be no mullahs after me as well, drop all the bombs on top of my head. This is the level of hatred that the Iranian people have for the mullah regime. So that's not sustainable.
Okay, I have responses from
Thank you.
Ramans and from Jose, and now everyone else. Okay, Ramans first.
Testing, testing.
Yep, it works.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to add that I know, like, this is so right what you just said, Armin. Like the amount of pain and suffering for, I think this is like the third, fourth generation, living with this. Like we've been taken hostage in this conflict. They are been taken as hostages, and the whole world has like not looking at it fully because it's shameful to let something that America was like part, like Democrats in the Americas has been part of creating. And I am just so proud to see the dignity of, what was that name? Papayo? What's his name? Pepito? I mean,
Potipto.
yeah, yeah. He gave a like speech on Goldie's live that like so aligned with also my values, and that like we are not oppressed, but we need like to see what tools and what enemy in the IRGC is easiest for us to overcome. As you said, I mean, like I agree. The military is obviously the hardest. The Vahidi part of the Iranian, sorry, Islamic Republic of Iran, or revolution. I just want to say also, like, uh, we need Trump to have full power as he had up till now after the midterms. So everything that's going on now is only focused. There is so many people in America that just wants not to have another Iraq situation, and they are like not fully informed. They want just to focus on their bills, their foods cost and living cost and gas and stuff like that, and not like more outside that they don't like fully understand how this affects them. There's a big amount of people that's thinking like that. So this deal, it's not even a deal, is like really genius move, and also like fronting with JD Vance that has been like having a close relationship with that Peter guy, which is also close with Tucker Carlson, and has been like in the administration the one that has been closest to like anti-Israel or whatever. Not that's my like view on that, and that's why Marco and Steve, no Pete takes it. Sorry, Steve. Pete takes that, and Marco Rubio. We haven't heard anything from them. They haven't tweeted anything like fully like not talking. And yeah, I'm just saying like we need to. There is so many Iranians outside of Iran that want to contribute and help. And like spreading the message, like Armin is doing, is awakening so much. I see more and more comments of Americans that's writing, we need to finish them, we need to kill them, we need to finish them. Before the war, and like when it started, it was like, how can we do this, blah blah blah. So like the narrative is shifting. Like the Americans are getting more and more sympathized with the Iranian people, and also see what is the outcome if we have a free Iran for the whole world. Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, add that and see like what channels and what avenues can we take to help them inside of Iran more than spreading the message.
Well, I do know that you are very eager to find ways to help the Iranian people. I just want to say that I've noticed how much you have been communicating ways to figure that out. So I just wanted to say that Ramins, you have a big heart, and I appreciate how much you're look. You know, I noticed that you're constantly trying to figure out ways to help the Iranian people and help them fight. And I see that in Sadata as well, and many other people here. Now I mention people. Now I have to mention everybody. Okay, but you know what I mean. So I just want to say, Ramiz, thank you for being so eager to look around. I know you keep asking questions and trying to figure out how we could send aid to the Iranian people, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that your eagerness to do so. All right, who's next?
Jose wanted to reply, I think, about Venezuela.
Venezuela. Thank you. So sorry, Jose. I know I got it wrong. So educate me on this.
Okay, no, you didn't get it wrong. It's just that the concept is outdated. There is a movement within the people of Venezuela. Hey, Trump, where's the elections? They're impatient for the elections. Just like the Iranians are impatient for, to wipe out the IRGC, they're impatient for the election. It's not the only thing that's happened recently in South America. There's now 6 countries that have literally asked the United States to bring the military in, 3 of which have authorized American military presence on their soil, on sovereign soil. That is huge. That isn't sneaky. This is U.S. Marines. Bring them in. Let's do the shit. That is a massive change. And think about it. Before I was thinking that they might do this because of Cuba being next, and they were waiting to see that. I think they're starting to see that Cuba's going to take a little while because Cuba's trying to horn its way out of it. But that's about it. You're not wrong, but you're not 100% right about Venezuela. There is something going on. Dulce is doing okay, but she's also doing what she's been told to do. She's gotten rid of a lot of the upper level military people that were the strong men supporting Maduro. Okay. They have released a lot of their political prisoners, not all of them, but enough, including the truly elected president of Venezuela was released recently, about a month ago. So it's just a matter of time. They're impatient right now. And you can see that in some of the other countries. They're waiting. I don't know if any troops, any Delta Force, Green Berets, whatever, Navy SEALs have been sent down there, or CIA units have been sent down there to help them in their fights against the narcos. Okay. But there is a momentum building. It's just a matter of what are they going to allow to run in their government? Because there's parties that are forming, and not all of them are going to be, shall we say, pro-American.
Okay. Thanks for that update.
Thank you, Jose. Sketch is next.
Yes, I'll be very brief because Jose covered a lot of what I was going to say. You have to remember that the problem that Maduro had was that he lost the election. Iranians can't have an election where they can win anything against the IRGC. Venezuelans won against Maduro, and then he decided to stop stop the whole process. That's a very different political outlook from Iran, because the people were already demonstrably, not just like, intellectually in the shadows because you can't even say it out loud. They were very openly in the majority against the government. And it is very clear in their recent memory that they have great numbers in the oppositions. This is politically a very different situation when you also have American oversights. Like, maybe the elections are late. I'm not too well aware of when they were supposed to be. When is their normal cycle? If they're gonna let him play out what was his cycle, if it's 4 years, if they're gonna want to wait that 4 years, if they want to do an early election, they don't want to do that. They want an early election, Jose. Well, that's the situation. But it is very clear in their recent memories that they won electorally a majority of the population. It's a very different calculus. It's what I'm trying to point out when comparing Venezuela to Iran. That's all I want to say about that.
Thank you,
Fair
Steve.
enough.
Yuval next.
Yuval.
This
Yuval?
theory, Ghalibaf may be good for the US, etc. Well, how about the following scenario? If it's not been covered, if it is, just let me know it was. That yes, Ghalibaf somehow works with the US, and the US likes what he's doing so much, and he's so convenient for the US that not only they let him stay, they actually help him stay. How about that scenario? You think that's possible? Aren't you afraid of that one?
So first of all, like, I let me just make it clear. I'm not saying Ghalibaf is good. I think Ghalibaf is being threatened that you have to, it's either our way or you die, like something like that. He Ghalibaf, like, because I don't want this to be framed as if I'm saying, yeah, Ghalibaf is good for America, as if Ghalibaf is anti-American, anti-Israeli. He's evil. Like, he's an evil person that is responsible for killing many Iranians. If he ends up doing what the Americans want, is because they have a gun on his head, right? Just to be clear, I know Yuval, you know that. I just want to make sure people don't think that I'm saying anything other than that, right? So the thing regarding, I think the Americans are already helping Ghalibaf to an extent. Like, if you look at the text in the MOU, the fact that they were supposed to meet with him and have him sign the MOU, but they agreed not to do it digitally and get Pezeshkian to sign the MOU. And President Trump's multiple times confirming that they need to say face, or let them say that, or let them put that in their, so President Trump seems to understand more recently the internal politics of the Islamic Republic and what it needs to be done internally for them to be able to have the upper hand. And he's allowing Ghalibaf to basically play that game internally within the Islamic Republic, right? So your question regarding would I be afraid if the Americans keep supporting him? The support that Ghalibaf needs, if IRGC is weakened, the support that Ghalibaf would need from the Americans is for the Americans to come and shoot into the crowds of protesting Iranians. I don't think the Americans are going to support Ghalibaf in that way, right? So, because short of that, nothing is going to save. Like, if the IRGC is weakened, the reason why I'm saying that the Iranian people will have a higher chance winning against the rest of the Islamic Republic is because it's the IRGC that keeps, shooting into crowds of Iranians. It's that military infrastructure that is the main obstacle in our way. So unless the Americans are going to come and participate in shooting innocent civilians, Iranians, I don't see what kind of help they could provide Ghalibaf to stay in power, unless they're going to participate in suppressing the Iranian people, which I don't think they're going to do. Does that answer your question?
To a degree, but the thing is it weakened enough? Because if not, the Americans can just stand aside and watch him shoot the people. and do nothing. The question is whether it is already weakened enough for the Americans say, yeah, okay, we'll let Ghalibaf stay because he's going to fall anyway, or whether he's strong enough to stay, and then they'll say, well, he's doing what we want him to do. We don't care if he shoots the people. He's good for us.
So the answer is it weakened enough? Is no, right? You're right. It's not weakened enough for the Iranian people to have an uprising. And if they continue down this path, we might continue being in a condition where the IRGC is being weakened, but not weakened enough for the Iranian people to have their uprising. So that's what you're saying is completely correct, and that is a genuine concern. What I'm saying is that with the weakening of the IRGC, we're getting closer to a situation where the Iranian people could have an upper hand, right? But getting closer doesn't mean that we're there yet. It just means we're closer. And yeah, it is a concern that a weakened IRGC is still not an IRGC weak enough for the Iranian people to be able to topple the regime. Yes, you're correct. That is a concern. But it also is also at the same time true that a weaker IRGC is better than a stronger IRGC. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's just that the specific scenario is it's not weak enough, and the Americans say it's not weak enough, and that's good. It's weak and not weak enough, and that's good for us because we have our puppy now, Ghalibaf. He can bark at us, but he's just a puppy. So let's keep him. Let's not disturb him. Let's not help the riot, the protesters against him, because he's good for us. Let's just leave it be and eat popcorn and enjoy the show as long as he's doing what we want. That's my fear.
That's a correct fear to have, but it also means that the Americans have made the job of the Iranian people easier, but not to the point where they could topple the regime unarmed. If we get to that point, then we need to start talking about arming the Iranian people. However, even if we get to that situation, it is true that the obstacle in the way of the Iranian people has become smaller, not small enough for them to be able to topple the regime, right? But still smaller than before. And then if we get stuck in that situation, then we need to seriously start talking about arming the Iranian people. I mean, I'm already seriously talking about it, and I started a campaign about it, but more people need to start taking that seriously. But your concern is correct. That is a concern.
Okay, let's go to Jeffrey next.
Hit the wrong button. Again, I mean, I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record. So no plan, no matter how well designed, survives first contact with the enemy or the operational environment. The fact that we had to pivot in response to elements of the autocratic bloc taking advantage of us striking the mullah regime, their proxy, doesn't mean that somehow we're abandoning our Israeli allies or our Iranian resistance allies. It means that given the resources that exist and or the geopolitical and geostrategic environment, Putin getting more belligerent in Chamarium, Chaikom's getting ready to hit Taiwan, stupid Rocket Man doing shit that he's doing on the Korean Peninsula, the fact that we have only so many long-range strike munitions that we are rapidly expanding. That's why President Trump signed an executive order to do just that hasn't been used since the Second World War. It means that we are looking for alternative means. We're pivoting towards alternative means to assist our Iranian resistance allies, which is why it's very important, and or I cited it today in the discussion board. Ukrainian Defense Forces have bumped up again their production of FP5s. Really cheap, streamlined production cycle, 3,000 kilometer range, 5 meter CEP accuracy, and delivers a 1,200 kilogram warhead for like $250,000. Right? Soon to be coming to regime remnants in Tehran. To Ramos's real quick comment, there are so the track 2 material support strategy that in part underwrites the alternative means to support Iranian resistance has both, because you keep asking, and it's a very valid point. I kind of sent you a PM. There are non-lesser and kinetic lines of effort that within the United States have certain legal gates you have to go through. You can't just like willy-nilly do shit. Non-like lethal, non-kinetic lines of effort is pre-bunking, debunking, battle the narrative, which Armin very much engages in, so much so that, you know, he's on certain people's radar. Same with Tulsi and Goldie, probably everybody here. Lawfare, which is to legally drain the mullah regime of its resources. Lesser kinetic lines of effort have a little more stringent legal gates, although hopefully, Armin, I'm almost done with the bumper I need to do the collab with you. Once that's done, we'll do the collab, and the overall motive, or like the proceeds that I get, none of it will go to me. I've already signed a legally binding document. It'll go through my nonprofit to set up a training fund for open intelligence source training for members of the anti-mullah, the broader anti-mullah diaspora amongst the U.S. and Canadian, so U.S. and Canadians of Iranian descent. So that's all going to go there. I'm already going to be reaching out to those companies that do that. And because I have a nonprofit, they can sit there and hopefully donate those things at cost or at kind, right? Which would be even better. Ali's going to be one of the people that's going to go. I have some other people here that I want to go through that training. That's the lesser kinetic lines of effort. Then you have kinetic lines of effort. And that's like direct force and like force. That has the most stringent like legal gates you have to follow. That includes things like sending material support overseas. It's also the reason why all of these different efforts reinforce one another. It's very important that people continue to push to recognize His Highness Prince Reza Pahlavi's headed transitionary government as the official government in exile, because that streamlines a lot of those legal gates. Then you can do things like create private military contracting companies. You can actually start sending things like lethal support, including things like Ukrainian long-range drones that just happen to visit a besiege. How do you say their fucked up little HQ at the, how do you say it? It's a, what is it called, Armin? How do you say Paydari? I don't speak
Paydari.
Farsi.
Paydari.
Yeah, the Paydari HQ somehow just gets a visit from a flamingo, and that'll be the end of them. So there's all those different kinds of lines of effort that can indeed be done. They just have to be done in a very specific way. That also kind of that kind of like is a overlapping segue to why we're doing what we're doing right now at the national level. Those kind of all go together. Sorry, it's a little bit meandering. You caught Uncle Jeff on laundry day, and you know, it's a long. I mean, I'm losing my hair. It's been such a long week.
Right. Let's go to super chats. Then are you out of time?
Yeah, guys. I'm out of time because I need to get ready for my next stream, which starts in half an hour. But you guys could continue the conversation here after I leave. I'm just telling Ramuz, because Ramuz is new here, so just letting him know. Speaking of Jahangir, we got a super chat saying that Donald has been president for a short time. He has more than double the time he has been president. Okay, so yes, he has more time left, double the time that he has been president. But I think, yeah, I don't know if it's double. I love that Israel have stated that we want regime change in all caps, because that will be a bit more time to complete. Yes, so even without President Trump in office, Israel will always be committed to regime change in Iran, for sure. Israel will never give up. Israel will never stop attacking the Islamic Republic until the Islamic Republic is gone. That's for sure. Because to them, this is an existential crisis, for just like for us Iranian people. And thank you for that. So we have, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm going to call you CLC. Thank you so much for the super chat. Saying, Armin, did you see the wiki page for the 2026 Iran war? Result Iranian victory? Hello from South Africa. Well, hi, South Africa. No, I have not. I don't know what you're referring to. Result Iranian victory. Wiki page. Oh, really? And what the hell? On Wikipedia? Are you saying on Wikipedia for the 2026 Iran war, they put the result Iranian victory? That's probably Islamic Republic, you know, people online just editing it and stuff like that. That's crazy. Already they put Iran. I did not. Well, thank you for telling me. Now I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look that up now. Well, thank you. That's weird. Okay. I mean, it's not. I don't know how they could say it was a victory for them. It's not over yet. We're just like, how many months are we into this? I think they should wait a little bit before they decide that. And thank you.
My friend once changed the Azerbaijani page to Azerbaijani, so basically anyone can edit it. It might get edited by everybody.
You tell your friend to stop. Why is he doing that? Why is your friend? Okay. I once edited. I once started editing Wikipedia. I thought like, oh, this is so much fun. I'm going to contribute so much. And then as soon as I edited something, they edited it back. They removed it. And I'm like, what the hell? And I gave up. I'm like, I'm not doing this ever again. Like, that was a good contribution. Why did you remove it? It took seconds for them to remove my contribution. I'm here with a super chat saying, got a lot of lovely sweets today. And I don't know how to pronounce this. Heja. I don't, guys. If you speak Swedish, read that. Okay. And sorry for not being able to pronounce that. And then we have Sherry with a super chat saying, I'm just sick and tired of people hating me and my country and my soldiers. Well, Sherry, every time you see people hating on America, just say they hate us because they ain't us. Okay. Just say that. It's a result of being successful. Okay. You get more hate, the more successful and powerful you are, you get more hate. Okay. So just see it as a side product of being a successful country. And then we have Jahangir with another super chat. Thank you so much, saying, I love America. Oh, this is in response to Sherry's super chat. I love America and your brave sons and daughters. Wow, thank you. This is beautiful. Warriors. And this is, by the way, Ramins. This is Ramins that is sitting here in the discussion group saying, let me read this one more time. Sherry, I hope you're here reading this. Jahangir is Iranian in Sweden. He's saying, I love America and your brave sons and daughters, warriors. I commend and respect them and pray for them every day, from Sweden. Isn't that beautiful? I hope Sherry was here to see this. This is an Iranian in Sweden saying that. What a beautiful message. I love it.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.